Hello everyone, welcome to IELTS Speed Up course offered by Thompson School. From today's lesson, we'll focus on IELTS Rating Task 2 guys. And of course, I'm going to start from general information about IELTS Rating Task 2. But before, let me remind you several things. So first, timing. You should remember that you will be given 1 hour to accomplish 2 tasks, and of course you should accomplish task 1 and task 2 within these 60 minutes. Okay, so again, you should remember that it is highly recommended that you will manage your time wisely and spend about 20 minutes on task 1, so you should write your report within 20 minutes and the rest of the time will be dedicated to writing your essay. Okay, let's talk about assessment criteria. Okay, how your essay, how your piece of writing is going to be evaluated. So, okay, here we have 4 criteria. First, task achievement and task response. Next, coherence and cohesion. Next, grammatical range and accuracy. And of course, lexical resource, or we call it vocabulary. So, you should understand that each of these makes up 25% of the overall marks in the IELTS writing test. So, your essay, your piece of writing will be evaluated on each criteria here separately from 0 to 9, and the average score is going to be your IELTS writing score. So imagine you get like 8 for task achievement or task response, like 6 for coherence and cohesion, and for grammatical range and accuracy you will get 8, and for lexical resource or vocabulary you will get 7. So 8 plus 6 plus 8 plus 7 divided by 4 is going to be your score. And of course, you should understand that you may have very good vocabulary and some pitfalls in grammar, so you should make sure that you will work on your weak points first of all. But anyway, you still have chances to get high score. Okay, let's talk about each criteria. What is task achievement or task response? Okay, as you already know, there are 2 tasks in the IELTS writing test, and task 1 is aimed at task achievement and task 2 at task response. So, okay, in writing task 2, you should actually answer all the questions, and of course you should respond adequately. So what does that mean? If in the question you are asked to discuss both views and give your opinion, make sure that you will discuss both views, both sides, and of course do not forget to state your own opinion. Okay, let's consider this example here. In some parts of the world, it is becoming popular to research the history of one's own family. Why might people want to do this? Is it a positive or negative development? So, as you can see, you have 2 questions here. You must address both questions. And of course, you should not make a list of thoughts and ideas using commas, adding one thought after another because of this, comma, this. No, you must explain your concepts, develop your reasoning, and advance your thoughts by using examples. So it means you should explain why you think so and why you are pointing out this idea with relevant supporting points and examples. How you present your ideas and justify your stance is the key to how well you will do in the IELTS writing exam. So you should be good at planning, and of course you should think through each idea, find relevant examples, which is very important. Okay, and now let's talk about coherence and cohesion. So what is coherence? It is the logical sequencing of thoughts and ideas. Okay, you should make sure that you're not jumping from one idea to another. Okay, and reader, so in IELTS this is going to be your examiner, should follow your thoughts and ideas. So if you're pointing out certain idea or thought, you should carefully explain this idea, and of course it must be clear to the reader why you came up with that conclusion after all. Okay? Now, for this to happen, what you must do? First, you must properly structure the answer and make logical use of paragraphs. So what does that mean? Imagine, okay, you're given a task, discuss both advantages and disadvantages. So you will be discussing your ideas in body part, and of course we'll come to this later, but you should divide your body into two paragraphs, one for advantages and the other one for disadvantages. So examiner, reader will know that this paragraph is dedicated to advantages and the other one dedicated to disadvantages. Okay, next. Your essay should start with an introduction that explains what it is all about, because reader should follow your ideas and of course understand what is this all about. Next, each idea that follows should have its own paragraph. As I told you before, so one separate paragraph for advantages and the other one for disadvantages. So you should logically divide your essay, and of course you should end with a conclusion. So as you can see, everything should be actually delivered in a logical sequence, step by step. Introduction, idea, and then conclusion. Okay, now the structure of the essay helps the reader to follow the thought process of the writer. So you should make sure that examiner, reader will follow your steps, how you thought about it, in what way you've been actually discussing this issue or topic. The ideas offered in the paragraphs should have a logical sequence. Okay, you should not jump from one idea to another, and of course you should not present ideas abruptly but rather lead into them. So what does that mean? You're not simply giving the idea, but you should start from general idea and come down to the main point. And of course, starting with a topic sentence and then add some reasoning and examples. So to substantiate the central idea of the paragraph. So substantiate the central idea of the paragraph means, okay, imagine you will have one main idea and all the sentences must be actually constructed around this idea. They should have one common purpose. Okay, let's consider this example here. It is important to preserve logical languages. Do you agree or disagree? This is the question. And now, correct version is going to be the preservation of local languages is essential to the protection of regional cultures. So, as you can see in this sentence, you are answering the question, okay? And of course, explaining why. Now, incorrect version is going to be like, agree, we should do this to preserve the culture. Okay, in the correct version, you can see that the first section of the sentence paraphrases the question and then joins it with the idea about why it is important. Okay, I hope you got the point here. So you should answer the question, and of course do not forget about reasoning your idea and thought. So you should tell why at the same time. Now, let's talk about cohesion. So what is this? Cohesion is all about connecting the ideas, both within and between sentences, as well as paragraphs in your essay. So every sentence, every idea must be logically connected. This is done by using linkers as shown in the list below. So you should use however, whereas, on the contrary, while are all used to contrast ideas. You probably know this, right? If you're talking about two different sides at the same time or two different aspects, so you should use these linkers. And remember, these words are signal words to the reader, and when examiner is reading your essay, they will know that you will be comparing or contrasting ideas. Okay? Now, this is to say, which means these phrases are used to explain a concept. Again, these are very good signal words to the examiner. Okay? They will understand that now you are going to explain your idea. To illustrate, for instance, for example, of course, these actually phrases are used to illustrate an idea. Now, furthermore, additionally, these are the words used to add similar ideas. Sometimes, instead of just listing your ideas, you will have to connect them with these linkers to make your essay look professional. Cohesion and coherence will be marked according to your ability to logically organize sentences and paragraphs. You should use linking devices to form connections between the parts of the sentences and between paragraphs so that the ideas are easy to follow. Remember, simplicity is the end of complicity. So do not try to make your essay complex. I'm talking about general concept, about the way you deliver your ideas. So it should be simple and easy to understand. Okay? But remember, you should keep it sophisticated as well. Never present your ideas abruptly. So not just simply naming your ideas, but you should explain why you think so, or what is the main reason, cause of this actually action. Now, okay, the linking words used must be both appropriate and relevant. Sometimes students start using some linkers without knowing their actually real meaning, actual meaning, and of course for this misuse you will be penalized. So keep in mind, you should practice and make sure that your essay is simple and sophisticated. Okay, now let's talk about grammatical range and accuracy. So in this section, in this part, you will be assessed on your ability to use a wide range of grammatical structures. Okay, for example, you will be assessed on how you use compound and complex sentences in your essay. And of course, you should remember that you should produce as many error-free sentences as possible if you want to get 7 or above. So, to score high points under this category, you must use the correct sentences and combinations, the correct active and passive voices where relevant, okay, modal auxiliary words, comparatives, conditionals, defining and non-defining relevant clauses. I do recommend you to go through each section here and of course make sure that you have basic knowledge of these sections of English grammar. And now we'll talk about lexical resource. Okay, if you want to get really good score in IELTS writing, you must be able to demonstrate to the examiners that you have a broad vocabulary, and of course to do this you must use more formal and uncommon words rather than informal commonly used words. And when I'm saying uncommon words, make sure that you're not using old-fashioned words. Okay, this is common mistake that IELTS students usually make. So now let's consider this example here. Instead of saying stop, you can use the word deter, for example. And of course make sure that you are using accurate and appropriate collocations. So what does that mean? Collocations are the way in which words naturally go together. So for example, we make mistakes, we don't do mistakes. This is one of the common mistakes. Now you should understand that actually native speakers or other English speaking people use these word groups naturally, fluently and effortlessly without any difficulties. So make sure that you're using a wide range of vocabulary and of course avoid repetitions. But remember, there are some words that are going to be repeated anyway. And of course, instead of repeating one word several times, it is highly recommended to use synonyms or rephrase sentences so as to avoid repetitions. Make sure that you use the words in the correct context. Okay? Misused words will do you no favors. You will just lose points. And of course, use the appropriate tone of voice. What does that mean? In IELTS writing, you should use formal vocabulary in all of the tasks. Okay, for example, a word such as anyway is informal. This word is mainly used in verbal language while you're speaking. The more formal word is nevertheless, and this word is a better choice. And of course, how you can find out whether you're using formal or informal word. For this, you should check your word using Advanced Learners Dictionary such as Oxford, Cambridge and Longman. So whenever you're actually working on your vocabulary, I do recommend you to use Advanced Learners Dictionary and of course go through the examples, because you will be able to see these words in real use and of course how they are used and when they are used, because this is very important. And make sure that you are using more formal words in your writing. Okay guys, I hope assessment criteria was clear to you and now you clearly know what aspects you should focus on while you are working on your writing. Now let's talk about general structure of IELTS writing task 2 essays. So you should have 3 main components in your essay. First, an introduction, then body paragraphs, then conclusion. Okay, introduction. This is paraphrased topic and a thesis statement. Okay, you should remember, you should tell the reader what your essay is about and what to expect from this essay. Body paragraphs, and of course, depending on the question and your ideas, you will logically divide your body into 2 or 3 paragraphs. So these paragraphs will contain ideas, supporting points, and of course, relevant examples. And of course, conclusion is a summary of the main points and restatement of the thesis statement. Now, today guys, we will focus on introduction writing. And of course, in order to write a good introduction, IELTS candidates, you guys should know how to paraphrase sentences, because introduction is paraphrased topic and a thesis statement. We'll talk about a thesis statement later, but now let's focus on paraphrasing. First, how you can paraphrase a sentence. You can use synonyms. This is the simplest form of paraphrasing. Let's consider this example here. My car needs petrol. So paraphrased version is going to be my vehicle requires fuel. So instead of car, you are using vehicle, which is very nice actually synonym here, and instead of petrol, you are using fuel. And okay, more examples here. Violent crime is on the rise among teenagers. And paraphrased version can be levels of violent offenses. So instead of violent crime, we can use violent offenses. Are rising among young people. Instead of teenagers, you can use young people or adolescents. Okay, and of course, instead of levels, you can use the rate. Now, let's consider this example. Global warming is mostly caused by emissions from internal combustion engines. So, paraphrased version is going to be climate change is mainly caused by the release of exhaust fumes from motor vehicles. And of course, another way you can choose to paraphrase a sentence is changing the word order. So let's consider this example here. As languages such as Spanish, Chinese, and English become more widely used, there is a fear that many minority languages may die out. And paraphrased version, when you change the word order, is going to be, there is a fear that many minority languages may die out as languages such as Spanish, Chinese, and English become more widely used. As you can see, we have 2 parts in our sentence and we are simply changing the order here. Okay? Next method you can use to paraphrase a sentence is changing the word form. So let's consider this example. Many people are unhealthy because they fail to eat well and exercise. So when it comes to changing the word form, you can actually make a verb out of a noun or vice versa, or use equivalent words, synonyms. Okay, let's consider this example here. Many people are unhealthy because they fail to eat well and exercise. And paraphrased version using this strategy is going to be, many people have poor health. Instead of saying unhealthy, we are saying poor health because they are failing to eat well and are not exercising enough. So failing, exercising instead of fail and exercise here. And of course, very nice strategy is also changing from active to passive. So let's consider this example here. The property developers invested $20 million in the development of the shopping center. And paraphrased version using this strategy is going to be $20 million was invested in the development of shopping center. Okay, I hope these actually strategies and methods were clear to you guys. And remember, do not limit yourself with just one strategy or method. Try to use combination of these methods I actually explained to you above. Now let's talk about an introduction in a very detailed form. So to write a good introduction, you should have three main components. First, paraphrase topic. Okay, you should paraphrase the topic that you are given, and of course a thesis statement. So what is a thesis statement? Okay, this is a statement or a sentence that tells the reader on what side you are or what you think about this issue. Yes, guys, you should state your position at the beginning of your essay. It will make it easier for a reader to follow your ideas and thinking way. And then an outline. So what is an outline here? Outline is a sentence that tells the reader what to expect from your essay. Okay, now here we have sample IELTS essay question. In the past, when students did a university degree, they tended to study in their own country. Nowadays, they have more opportunities to study abroad. And the question is, do the advantages of this development outweigh the disadvantages? Now, let's write an introduction together, guys. First, we should paraphrase the topic. Okay, now, when it comes to paraphrasing, you should use combination of previous methods that I explained before, guys. Let's start. When students, okay, instead of did, you can use try, but there is a better word, like more formal version is going to be attempt. When students attempted, okay, to pursue, okay, instead of university degree, we can say their tertiary, okay, higher education, tertiary education. So these are the synonyms. Education, they commonly use it to choose. Instead of choose, we can use opt for, okay. They commonly use to opt for local universities. Okay, just let me, universities. Okay, instead of saying they tended to study in their own country, I'm saying they commonly use to opt for or choose local universities in their own country. Okay, in the past. And whereas with current legislations, so I'm adding an extra feature here, so not simply paraphrasing the topic but including the reason. Okay, whereas with current legislations, studying, and of course instead of abroad I'm going to say studying in developed countries became more accessible. Yes, because this is the main point of studying abroad. So studying in developed countries. So usually students from developing countries try to study in, let's say, Germany, America, the United Kingdom, and of course these countries are developed countries. Okay, as you can see, I'm also including the reason why this actually became more accessible, because of current legislations, because of policies, rules. And now, this is my paraphrased topic, guys, and now I should have my thesis statement. Okay, let me change the color here. Let's make it green. In my opinion, this is how you can start your thesis statement. Okay, in my opinion, advantages. Okay, I think we have common opinion here, guys. Do the advantages of this development outweigh the disadvantages? So what do you think? Is it good or bad studying abroad in developed countries? Of course it is very good. Advantages of this phenomenon. Okay, let's say, in my opinion, advantages of, let's change it, receiving higher education abroad. Okay, now I'm going to use, okay, higher education abroad significantly outweigh the disadvantages. Okay, so this is going to be my thesis statement. In my opinion, advantages of receiving higher education abroad significantly outweighs the disadvantages. Okay, so outweigh the disadvantages. Now we should include an outline. Okay, again, let me change the color so you can clearly differentiate. Paraphrase topic. Okay, in this essay, okay, I will discuss both advantages and disadvantages of this phenomenon and highlight its positive effects on modern society. So this is what I'm going to write. Okay, this is what I'm going to write about. I will discuss both advantages and disadvantages, and of course point out positive effects of studying abroad. So how is that useful for our modern society? So this is paraphrased topic sentence, this is our thesis statement, and this is an outline. Okay, now let's consider this question. Some people think that it is better to educate boys and girls in separate schools. Others, however, believe that boys and girls benefit more from attending mixed schools. Discuss both views and give your own opinion. So, what you should write in your introduction. So, first, you should paraphrase the topic, then thesis statement, and okay, what you are going to include in your thesis statement. You should state your position, your opinion, what do you think? So is it good if they study together or in separate schools? You should answer this question, and of course in your outline you should tell the reader what you are going to do, what you are going to write about. So the question whether separated education is more beneficial for children or not has been widely discussed in modern society. So this is actually paraphrased topic, guys. Simply separated education. So as you can see, actually I'm changing the word form here, okay? And of course not talking about boys and girls, but okay, it's clear when you're talking about separated education is more beneficial. So instead of saying better, I'm using synonym here. For children or not has been widely discussed in modern society, and of course I'm adding something extra. Now this is going to be our thesis statement, guys. So in my opinion, single-sex schools are not as effective as mixed ones. So as you can see, I'm comparing single-sex schools and mixed schools. In this essay, I will discuss arguments on both sides and highlight the positives of mixed education, because I'm saying that mixed education is more effective in my thesis statement. So I'm going to continue logically and say that I'm going to highlight the positives of mixed education. Now let's try to write second version, guys, together. So version number 2. Okay, let's change the way we paraphrase the topic. The majority of people consider separated education for representatives of different genders as more effective. So okay, instead of saying boys and girls, I'm saying representatives of different genders. And of course I'm using the word effective here. Now, while others strongly believe that mixed schools are more, okay, instead of saying beneficial or useful, let's say advantages, okay, are more advantages for their children. Yes, you should understand that this issue is discussed by parents because they decide, okay, what school their children are going to attend. And this is going to be my paraphrased topic, and I can just copy thesis statement and outline here, and this is going to be my introduction. So as you can see here, we have already 58 words, and you probably remember that you should have at least 250 words in your task 2 essay. So with simply writing a good introduction, you already have almost 60 words here. Okay, I hope this was clear, guys. Okay, guys, here we have questions, and writing an introduction for these questions is going to be your home assignment. Okay, some people believe that sport is an essential part of school life for children, while others feel it should be purely optional. Discuss these opposing views and give your own opinion. Okay? Some people feel that it is always wrong to keep animals in captivity, for instance in zoos. Other people say that there are benefits for the animals and for humans. discuss both sides of this debate and give your personal view. Some people believe that a gap year between school and university is a good idea, while others disagree strongly. Consider both sides of this debate and present your own opinion. Some people think that it is best to save money, for example, in a bank or savings scheme. Others, Other people believe that money should be spent whenever it is available. Discuss these views and reach an opinion on this debate. Okay, it is better to save money than to spend it. How far do you agree with this statement? Is saving more important than spending in today's world? Okay, tourism is always a force for good, which enables people of different countries to understand each other. To what extent do you agree with this idea? Okay, we should introduce laws to make businesses and state services employ equal numbers of male and female workers in every department or area of the company. How far do you support this idea? Okay, here you have 4 more. Overall, you will have to write 10 introductions and you must submit your homeworks. You should write ready written introductions to the Telegram group, guys. I hope everything was clear to you, and this is the end of our today's lesson. See you next time.